begin.
Hi guys, welcome back to our episode of Wingz Alwayz, Making 100 CEOs. We have a very, very special guest in the house. As I promised, I'm going to bring you all the Oklahoma City greats. And we're going to, show their talents, introduce them to the world, introduce them to you so that you know who they are. And we have the most talented person that I've met with us today. Her name is Mariah. Mariah is multiple talented. It's where she's an actress, she's a singer, she's a business owner, she's a mom. Am I missing anything? She's a model. So Mariah is the complete package. And we're going to dive in here today, Mariah, and we're going to find out who is Mariah. Welcome to Wingz Alwayz Podcast. All right, Mariah. So tell us about yourself. Tell us about Mariah.
Yeah, so I am, like you said, I'm a business owner, entrepreneur. I started my business back in 2020. So it is a bookkeeping, accounting business. So I help business owners with their finances.
Right.
So do that. I started modeling back in 2020 as well. I am a single mom, and I recently just kind of tapped into acting.
Okay.
So that's kind of a newer thing. And then also, I'm about to drop a project. So I'm an R&B artist. So I sing and play the piano.
Sitting here by myself makes it hard to accept. Learning to find peace in this place of regret. The silence is so deafening, and this emptiness is strong. Sometimes I'm trapped in my thoughts, but I'm determined to move on my own. I'm ready.
So
Awesome. Well, welcome.
thank you.
So tell us, about what's it like living here in Oklahoma City? We hear a lot of things about Oklahoma City, and we want to bring Oklahoma City to life. So your truths of Oklahoma City.
So I don't really have a lot of experiences outside of Oklahoma City. I've traveled a little bit, but to me, Oklahoma City is definitely home. I love it here. I have traveled to like the bigger cities, and it makes me appreciate Oklahoma City, the space, being able to just leave and not deal with so much traffic and just so much clutter, I guess.
Right.
And so I really enjoy the space. I tend to feel like kind of claustrophobic when I go to like the bigger cities like LA, and I've been to South Beach and just recently went to Vegas. And I can appreciate Oklahoma City, like having the space. But I truly love it here. I feel like we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of great things going here. But we just need someone like you to shine some light on the talent here. So
we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Our co-host has joined us, Empress. Hi, Miss Empress.
kids, life.
and it's true. We listen. This is going to be one of the realest podcasts you ever seen. We're not going to candy coat anything. We're not going to shade anything. And being successful is about being able to manage life. And sometimes our management, is going to be based on other people. It's not going to always be based on what we want to do and the times that we want to start. It's going to be based on who we have working for us, who we have watching our children, and we appreciate it. And we're gonna bring you real life. We're not bringing you anything fake. Empress, how are you?
I'm here. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're beautiful.
So really, we're just bringing. She's kind of telling us a little bit about herself. For you, how did you make the transition from deciding one day, when I get out of school, I'm just gonna do multiple things? You know, what gave you that drive? Where did that passion come from?
So honestly, it wasn't the plan. It just kind of happened that way.
Okay.
So I was actually homeschooled.
Okay.
So life was kind of backwards for me. So I started working at like a really young age. And so really it was just kind of like life happening and, you know, going through things, trauma, all those different things. Those were kind of like, honestly, my motivators. I never thought about being an entrepreneur until I had my children. I was actually working a 9-to-5 job, corporate job. And when I had my kids, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I also wanted to make money. So I was like, how can I do this? So that's when I decided to open up my business, which is 100% virtual. So I was opening my business, and my kids were around like 1. They had just turned 1. And so they were actually my driving factor to become an entrepreneur.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really how I met you. And because I was needing an accountant. I was needing that person that, you know, because I was in the stages of getting Wingz Alwayz off the ground and getting the things, you know, that I needed for Wingz. And I had a different Turo company. I still have my Turo business. So I was doing multiple things and trying to get out of that 9-to-5 and kind of move into that, you know, self-sufficient mode. And that's a difficult thing to do because you lose a lot of things with that security of that 9-to-5, but we can't get locked in on that false security. You know, for me, what it was for me that I seriously made that decision because I was making good money. I was making good money here, you know, working for this guy, but he put us in a room one time. It was all the salesmen, and I won't say the company. Most of you know where I worked at, but I won't put them out like that. But he put us all in a room, and it was right after the pandemic when all of us came back to work. They jacked up all the prices of the cars. We were making really good money because you could buy a car and it was $8,000 over MSRP. So, you know, the salesmen at that time were making really good money. So what they did was they put us in that room and they said, you all aren't worth the money you're making. They used those words. Those were the exact words. I was so mad at myself that I didn't video that meeting. The first thing they said to us was, you all are not worth the money you're making. There's no reason you should be selling 10 cars and making the money that you're making. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut and pack all that money that you're making. You're only allowed to make this amount of money. If you don't like it, you can part ways. That was the meeting. And big companies, big corporations, that's one of the reasons that, you know, what is it? They just went on strike. Unions. It's one of the reasons that unions are so
You're talking about
important.
GMC.
Because companies, when you leave it up to them, they will take advantage of you. So we have to find our way out of that. We have to find our alternative. You know, it's okay to work for someone. You have the insurance or the security, but you can never lose that, you know, sense of independence. So you have to find your independence. And it seems like you found a lot of independence in what you do. And that's you know, people need to know that. And you know, that's why you're here. And we're happy for you, we're excited for you, and we're gonna shine the light on you. Because it's a wonderful thing. It really is.
It is.
Erica, you got something for us?
Yes, so what are the 3 top things that you had to unlearn to have the mindset to become an entrepreneur?
Oh man, the top 3 things. Oh my goodness. There's so many things. Because it, like I said, it wasn't planned. It was something that was just like, I'm going to do this for my children. So I would say I had to unlearn that it's not easy. Like, it's not an easy process. It's not something that's just, you're just going to wake up and be like, everything's just going to come to you. It was something that I had to work through. When I actually opened my business, I was working nights at IHOP. So I was working nights at IHOP. I was working from like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I would get off and I would sleep for a couple hours until my kids would get up, and then I would wake up and start working on my business. And so it took me a while to get things going. So that was also something I had to unlearn, is that when you open a business, it just doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you have to work at every single day. Like, consistency is key, and you can't get discouraged in that process. So I didn't get my first client for like 3 or 4 months. So, but I did not stop. It was like every day. Luckily for me, I opened my business in January of 2020, and then COVID hit really hard in like March. So I got laid off. I ended up getting laid off from IHOP. And so it forced me, like, okay, your business is your only option right now. Right. And so it forced me to focus on that and to, you know, really grow that and just not.
Looking in the mirror, vision clear, I can finally see that I can be okay. Okay with being me, loving myself, learning to trust this journey of being by myself. It's a must that I heal in order to move.
Not let my thoughts, you know, I had to feed myself a lot of positivity, like, okay, this is not an option, we're gonna do this. This is the only option we have. And so definitely just, it doesn't come easy, just being consistent and knowing that it's just not gonna happen overnight. I'm trying to think of a third thing. And then I would say just consistency, just making myself be consistent, because that was something that I struggled with. Like, I'm like the type, I used to be that type of person, like, if I don't see results immediately, I'm like, I'm out. But it was something, and I quit so many times. Like, I'm like, I'm not doing this. On to something else, and then something always drew me back, whether it be like one of my friends, she also was opening a bookkeeping business, and she was like encouraging me, like, no, you have to stay the course, and slowly but surely it started to build up, and I would say every year I've leveled up every year, and so it's been so worth it. The best decision.
That's awesome. So how are you balancing this now? Because, you know, we haven't even talked about your singing career. We haven't talked about your modeling. Right. We've talked about your business that you have. So that's a lot of balance. You know, just getting here tonight, for all of us to get here tonight, was a chore. Yeah. So how do you balance that?
Honestly, I take everything a day at a time. Okay. So definitely a lot of, like, I have to write everything down, schedule everything, reminders and stuff, but it's chaos. My life is chaos. I will say that. Like, even coming here, I'm like getting kids in the bath, and I'm like getting school bags packed, and grabbing a breadstick for dinner. I'm just like, let me just eat this real quick. Like, my life is complete chaos. Right. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Organized chaos. Yeah. So some days are better than others. I have a whiteboard in my room that has like a list of things that I want to accomplish every day. Right. Sometimes I check everything off. Sometimes it's like half. Sometimes it's just every day is different. But I just, you know, let myself know, like, give myself grace, because I'm one person. So yeah. And
you all will be able to follow her. We'll have her links in below so that you can, you know, check her out and listen to, you know, see some of the things that you do. If you need that bookkeeping help, if you know, want her to perform in your area. So, you know, all of her links and all of her listings will be below for you. So.
Okay. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Sometimes I feel that I should have tried harder. Should have stayed just a little bit longer. Should have suffered, but that would have made it harder. Just wanna be better for my son and my daughter. All these tears I've cried kept me up at night. I never wanted it this way. okay.
Oh my goodness. I feel like that's such a loaded question because there's so many things I would do different. Honestly,
what's ever important to you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say the main thing that I would tell my younger self is, like, don't be so focused on, like, the American dream. So, like, oh, find a man and, you know, go to college and, like, all these things that they tell us, like, that don't really matter.
They put you in debt.
It does. It puts you in debt. And so definitely I would tell my younger self, like, don't focus on a relationship. Because I was since I was a kid, you know, it got worse going into a teenager. I was just I've always wanted to be a wife. I was like, oh my God, I just want to be a wife and have kids and just, you know, settle down and be like the cute little housewife and stuff. And I'm like, that's like the number one thing I would tell myself. Like, don't focus on a relationship. Focus on yourself. Like, what do you like? What do you want in life? Definitely would tell myself that, and just like save more money and invest. Like, I feel like so many people waste money, honestly, on just like liabilities. Yes. And they don't really understand what a liability is. Like, I feel like life, you know, the world, they encourage you like, oh, you got to be a homeowner, you got to get married, and it's like a marriage. A wedding that's a liability. You spend a lot of money for a big old wedding, and it's like over so fast.
Yeah, because a lot of people end up getting divorced because of the debt that they accumulated from the wedding.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really not. It's really not that serious.
And you know, for me, I feel relationships are rushed anyway.
They are.
You know, you really to honestly get to know a person.
3 years.
It takes time. It takes you know, you really have to first get through just the stage of, hey, we're friends. Let's know what you like. I need to know what your lifestyle is, how I can either enhance that or am I going to hinder that, you know, with my lifestyle. You know, and a lot of people fall into the idea, like you said, the lust and the idea. And when you put those two together, it's catastrophe.
It is.
You know, there's no rush, you know, and that's the biggest thing coming out of this, because, you know, for those who haven't gotten married yet and they think that's all I need to do, I need to find a husband. You don't. Love yourself.
It's a lot of work.
It is a
lot of work to always consider somebody else's feelings or whatever you're gonna do. It's gonna impact them. It's gonna impact your family.
Yeah.
And we're not husband and wife haters. Don't get us wrong.
No, not at all.
Haters. I want us, especially as a culture, for one, we gotta quit. Us men, we have to take back hold of our race, because for the black man, especially in America, the women have been holding it down for so long. Because we're either killed, incarcerated, or we're wilding out. We got 3, 4, 5 baby mamas, and we glorify that. We glorify with each other. Oh man, I mean, man, you got that bad girl over there. You got this bad girl, but no. You know, we have to take control of our families back. We have to take control of our sons. You know, that's a big thing. I was a dad of daughters for many years. And when I got a son, oh my God, it's like night and day. And it's important because I remember my dad was absent. And that made me less, you know, I was insecure. Right. You know, there was just things about me. My mom did a great job, but I was a mama's boy, you know, and mothers can sometimes ruin a son. That part. And
we can.
And it's unavoidable, but it's us men. It's our fault. We take responsibility. I take responsibility for the black culture. I take that responsibility, because when we are in our children's lives for any amount of time, it makes a world of difference.
It does.
In that child's life.
It really does.
Well, you know, like with my son, he still, you know, remember things from when his dad was alive. And, and, you know, he always liked to hear stories about him and things like that, because he was a very important, instrumental person in his life, in our lives. You know, you go from seeing someone on a daily basis to not at all. And it's
and
not
just to
my
bring
choice.
you up to speed, Erica lost her husband to gun violence. Gun violence. We're going to say what it is. And we lose a lot of our black men to gun violence. And so it's we leave our sons with, I couldn't imagine today if I was lost, if something tragically happened, you know, where would my son be?
Right.
You know, mentally, not just, yes, he's going to be taken care of, but where would he be mentally? And we have a lot of sons out there like that. So we really just got to start making better decisions.
Yeah.
We got to start trying to come together as a race. We got to start trying to open up our own businesses and, you know, find that financial security so that we can give our children more than what we could ever have.
Definitely.
You know, and that's just a big thing. So you talked about trauma a little earlier.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the traumas, you know, in your life that you've overcome, that you're living through. Because out of the ashes, and if we don't know the ashes, we don't know the person.
Yeah.
So tell us some of your trauma.
Pain, it may linger, the hurt may stay, but I am determined to find a way. I'm ready to conquer these fears I face, to heal and to move in a healthy space. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
So I have definitely my great deal of trauma. Definitely a lot of childhood trauma. I think that, you know, the people raising us, they do the best that they can with the tools that they were given, but sometimes it's not the greatest. And so I come from a very unique background. So I'm a pastor's kid, and I was homeschooled. I'm a PK, and I was homeschooled. So I was very sheltered. I didn't get a lot of social interaction besides church. Okay. And so that was basically my foundation. Very, very sheltered. Like, when I say sheltered, like, I was only allowed to listen to Christian music. So Kirk Franklin, you know, all that stuff, like, that's my background. That's my foundation. And so my dad he was not having it. Like, very, very sheltered. He was very, like, protective of us and didn't want us to, like, see the world. And so, you know, when I turned 18 and I went out into the world, I'm just like, oh my God, I thought everybody was nice and kind, and it's all like, you know, glitz and glamour out here. And I got a very rude awakening at 18, and just coming from a background like that and then going out into the world. I'm actually from Tulsa. I was born in Tulsa. Okay. And so my parents moved me to the city when I was like 9 months old. So I went back to Tulsa when I turned 18 because I'm like, oh, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to see the world. And I had a lot of trauma that came with that. I kind of got beat up, you know, by by life, you know, just thinking that everything was great. Yes. And it was not.
It was that innocence. It was going from innocence to losing your innocence.
Exactly.
Losing your innocence to the world.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Yeah. So I was in a couple of rough relationships, and I was very vulnerable, and I was just ignoring all the red flags and everything. And so I got pretty beat up just out in the world. And so a lot of trauma came with that, a lot of lessons. I would say I just turned 30 last month, and I would say I'm just now starting to like realize like, okay, I need to like kind of just focus on myself and work through the trauma that I've experienced. And just really truly find myself, you know. It's hard to do that when you're super sheltered. You're like, what do I like? Who is Mariah? And so I feel like that's the season that I'm in. Right. And so it's just like a lot of facing things that I've went through, and just realizing that I played my part in it as well. And so just working through that, it's been interesting.
Holding yourself accountable.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what made you overcome it? Like, what was your main driving force to overcome the traumas? Or have you overcame your traumas?
I would say I have not 100%, but I've came so far. Like, I would say this year has honestly been my biggest breakthrough year. Honestly, having my kids was like the wake-up call for me. It was like, I don't want them to experience me as a hurt person. I don't want them to experience trauma because I don't want to just face my demons and deal with, the things that I'm dealing with on the inside. And so my kids were like the first thing that made me like, okay, really made me look at myself like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, what are we doing? So that was like the first thing. And then really therapy was like huge for me. So I went through like 4 or 5 counselors before I found one. And she really she was on my head. Like,
that's something as Black people and that we are afraid of. We've always taught that what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Yes.
So you have uncles molesting kids. You have, but it stays in the house. It goes nowhere.
Right.
And you don't talk to anybody about your problems. That's really a big thing that we have to overcome.
Definitely.
That it's okay to talk.
It is.
Because if you can't get that out and it festers in you, then you can't be about change.
Exactly.
And if you can't change yourself, how can we change our communities? How can we change? If we can't change our community, how can we change the world?
Right.
And we can change the world.
We can.
And we can be that powerful force. And for you, I think when you mix in your religious background, how do you teach your kids? What do you offer them in a sense of religion?
So that's an interesting topic. So I don't. My kids they're younger. They're 4, and so they go to church, but it's not something that I force on them. We pray every night, and I let them know like when we have problems and things like we pray through those. We use like a lot of like positive affirmations and things like that. But I think coming from like a background of being a pastor's kid and stuff, like it was so forced on me. It was like, you don't have an option. This is what it's gonna be. And I have my own personal relationship with God, and religion and things like that. It's like coming from where I came from. Sometimes it gets old, and it's like just dealing with super religious people that don't truly like
follow what they preach.
Exactly. And it's super hypocritical. Like they're super judgmental, and I feel like my whole life I've lived in a glass house, and it's like if I do one thing wrong, it's like all the fingers pointed at me and stuff. So with my kids, I definitely try to take a way more gentle approach and kind of just let them,
find their own way.
Yeah, and just be more of an example to them, because I feel like I've had so many religious people like pointing fingers at me, but then I look at their life and what they have going on. I'm just like, you might want to focus on you.
Right.
So
I'm church as well.
Yeah.
And I'm spiritual. I don't do any religion. And it's all about being a good person. Having your own standards and your morals, and give praises to yourself, your ancestors, and the Creator. Whoever that may be. We don't really know who it is. We have so many different religions. So you got to go based off of what is best for you and your family. That's what I do with my son. I kind of let him, hey, whatever he feels fit him, that's what we're gonna go with. So with that being said, as far as the religion, because you said you're Christian, what about your eating habits? Do you think like what you intake, do you think that affects your emotions and your thinking process and how you feel about, the world in general?
Yes, it's funny that you asked that, because back in 2020, I actually went on like it was like a spiritual journey, but it was also like just me going through some health issues and things like that. And I completely went vegan. So I was only eating like fruits and veggies for 3 months.
Vegan or vegetarian?
I was vegan at the time.
Okay.
So I was literally only eating fruits and veggies. And it was like, one day I just woke up and was like, I'm about to do this. So I literally cut everything. And I remember just going through that process. Like the first 2 weeks, my body was just like freaking out.
Oh,
like
yes.
it
does.
It was crazy.
I remember my journey.
Yes. And so I was like going through detox symptoms and stuff. But when I tell you, it was like 2 weeks later after I came out of that, like the mental clarity that I had, and just I had so much energy, and it was unmatched. Like that was, so I 100% believe that what you put in your body matters. And so now I'm vegetarian, so I'm not vegan. So, but I don't eat like actual meat. But yeah, I really just chased that feeling that I had when I actually was vegan, because it was amazing. Like it was unmatched. I lost a lot of weight though, and so that was like the one thing that I was like, oh my God, I look sick. But
people don't know how to balance it.
Yeah.
And when you actually transition to go vegan or vegetarian, whichever you like, you actually have to detox your body and prepare it. Otherwise, you'll shock your body and then it'll cause more problems.
Exactly.
Because I'm actually vegan.
Oh,
yeah.
That's dope.
And so I'm actually working on 48 hours of no sleep. So
this is true. I think that's a great benefit. Like,
right? So it's like, oh, I'm exhausted, but you'll never know it.
Right, exactly.
So let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
We've talked about your past a little. We know where you come from. We know a little bit about you religiously. Let's talk about the music scene.
Okay.
Because you're entering into that music scene right now, which is really in its infant stage in Oklahoma City. Although we have some great talent, we haven't had, and my assistant, she will disagree that we've had breakout artists, but I don't feel like we've really had the real breakout artists that we have the potential to have here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the scenery and the music, and how is it treating you so far?
So far, it's been good. Like I feel like I've had great support. It's been cool. I feel like sometimes it can kind of feel like a competition, and that kind of was like, I feel like there's enough people to go around, and for each person, because everybody has something different that they can offer.
Sure.
And so I was super lucky because I actually got in with a great group. My producer, he owns 778 Music Group, and it is the best. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Fight me if you want to, but they're the best. They have a great, it just, me as a new artist, especially coming into the R&B world, because like I said, I have a church background, and so everyone is expecting my first project to be a gospel project, and I'm like, no, it's not. Right. So just coming into it, it's R&B.
Okay.
And so even just with writing, and of course just all the production, and I play keys too. It's like they had an answer for every area for me. So I really didn't write a lot on my project. They wrote a lot of it for me. They had someone to help me with the piano. They're producing tracks for me, and so just a great group of people. Basically welcome me with open arms, and they've been my biggest support system and kind of my foundation, and just helped me launch myself off into this world that's completely new to me.
Right.
So
how long have you been with the company, or how long have you been producing your own music?
So I started back with them in February. So that's when we started working together. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just this is super new to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So it's exciting though.
So you got her first right here.
Literally.
So really, what advice do you have for those that want to do what you do? Whether they have children or not, single parents or not, there's people out there that don't have children that are still, have a world of things that they have going on.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to that next aspiring artist?
Yeah. So some advice that I would give is, I never in a million years would have thought that I would be releasing a project, or just any of the things that's going on in my life right now. I would have never thought that it would be the first thing that I had to do, because I come from a background that's not really, it's not really positive. It's just a lot of negativity. And so it's something that you have to unlearn. And so in order to unlearn that, you have to feed your brain with new things to learn. And so one thing that really helped me was listening to positive affirmations. And you feel crazy at first, like doing it because you're listening to these things, and it's like you don't believe it. Like you're in your mind,
you
it's
feel like you lying to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, just like the consistency of that, and just feeding myself with like those positive affirmations and stuff, like you can do this. Like if it's being done, you can do it. It doesn't matter your circumstances. When I opened my business, I was going through a divorce. I had 1-year-old children. When I left my ex, I lived in like a 700 square foot apartment. I was working overnight to IHOP, so all the odds were against me, honestly.
Absolutely.
But every day I woke up and told myself, this is a season, this is temporary, it does not have to remain like this. And so if I show up for myself every single day, this can get better. And that's what I did. And so every year has been an elevation for me. And so consistency is definitely like my number one thing that I would say. Just be consistent, like show up for yourself, just like you show up for that 9-to-5 job and you're on time and you're there. Show up for yourself in that same way.
Absolutely.
I was showing up for IHOP. I would sleep for a couple hours, and then I was showing up for myself because I wanted better for myself. I wanted better for my children. So consistency, definitely, and just believing in yourself, feeding yourself with information and positivity every single day. That's going to compound, and it may feel like nothing is happening right away, but look 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, and just be like, remember where you started. Like that's what I did, and I can truly say that it works.
Awesome.
It does.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have a name for your first? I'm sorry, Erica, I'll be jumping in. Do you have a name for your first project yet?
Yes. So it's going to be called I'm Ready.
I'm ready. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. All right, I'm sorry.
I mean, you gotta look at it as you gotta tell your future self,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah.
Because every day when you're going into it, this is your future self telling you, hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do that. You know, so you just like, hey, future self, I appreciate you. I thank you. With the affirmations and stuff. With that being said, what are some things that you value the most about yourself?
Some things that I value the most. I would just say my growth, honestly. Like just my ability to work through these difficult situations, because I literally had some of the hardest odds stacked up against me. But I will say that just my childhood and just the trauma and the things that I've been through, it's created a resilience in me that I didn't know I had. And so it took certain situations happening to reveal that to me, like, you really are resilient, you really are strong. And being able to say those things to myself out loud, because I would feel like I'm being conceited or I'm like glorifying myself, and I'm like, no, this is real life. Like you are surviving like some of the most difficult circumstances. And so just my strength and just my drive and ability to navigate through hard times and realize that it's a season, and it's not a permanent, it's not a permanent thing. It's just a season, and just working through those seasons. For sure.
I got another question for her.
All right.
And this one might hit a little different.
Okay.
But what are 3 things that you believe that you have as flaws that you turned it into something positive, and how are you embracing that in your new life and with your new journey?
Okay. Run that back. So 3 things three negative things.
3 things that you believe, or at any point in your time that you believe was a flaw in yourself, that you changed into a positive, and now you're embracing it in your new journey.
Okay. So one of the first things that came to mind is I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be perfect. Like I want everything to line up perfectly. Like my days, I want them to go just like this, and I have it all mapped out. And I will say having kids really messed that up for me. Like I used to be able to kind of get close, like, okay, this is how I want my day to be. When you introduce 2 small kids, it's like sometimes you gotta go off of them, like how they feel. And so my days sometimes do not go how I want them to go. And so just always craving that like perfection. It's like, oh, I want it to go like just like this. I realized that it's something that it's not realistic. And so I've had to kind of take that and turn it around, like in a way like, okay, we can aim for this can be the goal, but sometimes life is not perfect, and that's okay. Like,
and you have to embrace that.
Exactly. You literally do. So like at the end of the day, I have to tell myself, okay, I can't look at all the things that I didn't get done, but I can look at the things that I did get done and be like, okay, let me pat myself on the back for that, because at least we got that done.
Right.
So that's definitely one thing, is just always wanting things to be perfect. I had to really realize, like, it don't work like that. And so just shifting that, like pivoting from, okay, perfectionism is it's not realistic. So that's one thing. Let me try to think of two more.
I don't think she got many flaws there.
I definitely do.
You never know
I
what's
don't
up
think
under
she's
there,
got many
because
flaws.
a lot of us, when we're on our journey to self-healing and trying to become the better us, we actually have to look inward and do the inner work to see what our flaws are. We have to be real with ourselves and man,
I think one of the things that she mentioned earlier, though, that I can get out of what she said was, don't rush into wanting that life that the world says that you should have. You know, and that is a flawed thing that we all have. You're supposed to have that white picket fence. You're supposed to be married by a certain time. You're supposed to have kids by a certain age. You know, and that is a flaw. That is a flaw that's, you know, love is going to be something that comes. And it's not even when you're looking for it. It comes. And when it comes, it's easy. Love is easy. Don't ever think love is hard. Don't ever think you have to stay up all night for love. Don't ever think you have to run to it or, you know, love is easy.
Chasing,
You know, it's and if it's not easy, if you're in a situation that's not easy, and I don't mean easy in the sense that you still have life, but easy in the sense that you can communicate with that partner and you can trust that partner. If you don't have that, quit fighting for something that's bad. You're mixing oil and water. For you, I'm impressed with your education.
Thank you.
You seem to love school. You've done a lot of it. So tell us about some of the accomplishments. What are some of the things you've done school-wise?
So actually, when it comes to school, I've only graduated high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything that involves like my business, it's been on like hands-on experience.
You've been self-taught.
Self-taught. I've taken some courses and things like that, but even with the courses that I've taken, their advice to me was get clients and do the real life work. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so that's how I've learned, and I 100% encourage others as well. Like, do the work. That the real life experience is the best experience. So I definitely I don't know, I just have like my own opinion on just like people like, oh, go to college and all this stuff, and it's like spend all that money and then they end up wanting you to like have the real life experience anyway. So it's like, just go for it, get that. It's worked out great for me. My business has been carrying me for the last 4 years, and I don't have any type of college or school experience when it comes to my business.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Shoot, I have degrees and I don't even use them.
Exactly. I know a lot of people like that.
A lot of people. A lot. Yeah. not few. A lot.
Yeah. Almost 80% of it, because I mean, you can't, once you get those degrees, you can't really find jobs.
Exactly.
So what's next for you? What's next for Mo?
I honestly do not know, and I love that. This whole year has been an out of my comfort zone year. So I know, like, for sure my project will be dropping soon.
Okay.
I will be in a movie called Neurosis.
Tyrell Williams, Chief Financial Officer of Guardian Financial Services, Inc. How may I help you?
Tyrell?
Lakeisha? Are you there?
She cannot hear you.
Who is this?
I am going to give you a list of tasks.
Look, Nikki, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, okay? I'm coming back.
You will be allotted 12 hours to complete said tasks.
He said he'll kill me if you leave the office.
This is impossible. There's no way I can do all of this by 5 o'clock.
Answer your cell phone. What would you have me tell her?
Tell her I'm cooperating. If I get my hands on you, I'm gonna break every bone in your...
Save your threats for someone who fears you.
You need to relax. No, look, I can't relax, Tay. I got too much to do. Do you have any idea how many security systems I have to hack?
What is going on?
Codes I have to break and then rewrite to get into.
Why can't I go home?
What the hell with that? I'm not doing this.
What are you afraid of?
August came.
If the feds look deep enough, they gonna connect Edward Ambrose to our CEO, August Kane. And you know what that means.
You know that. I know that. I am merely a voice.
Just a voice on the phone. Really?
The actions are yours.
All this is on you.
I'm here for me.
And stop acting like we're friends, because we're not.
Tick tock, Tyrell.
Just give me a few more seconds.
10 seconds, Tyrell.
Are you watching me?
9.
Keep it together, focus.
8.
What? You working with them?
7.
Stop using Lakeisha like leverage.
6.
No.
5.
Lakeisha.
4.
What did you do?
3.
I'll kill you.
2.
It's no, by the end of the day, you'll have what you want. And I will too.
Very good.
Called Neurosis.
Awesome.
Yes, it was by Notice Studios, so shout out to them.
Is that a local? Is that a...
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
yes. So that will be
Oklahoma.
On the rise.
I'm telling you guys,
Yes.
we are the best kept secret.
Literally.
We're the airport, traffic,
Yes.
just climate. We are the best kept secret out there.
Definitely.
So what else we got?
Yeah, so that's coming out in February. So
Okay.
super excited about that. My project will be dropping soon. So I'm gonna drop my single first, which is also called I'm Ready. So the single's called I'm Ready, but the project will be called I'm Ready. You know, just doing my modeling thing, you know, however, whatever that comes. But a lot of these opportunities have literally just fell into my lap. And so I know that, you know, God is orchestrating it all. And so I'm just keeping myself open,
Right.
keeping myself out of my comfort zone and just ready for whatever happens.
That is awesome.
Oh my goodness.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
So, for you, who do you see yourself becoming within the next 90 days?
Wow, the next 90 days.
Short-term goals.
Yeah, short term. I love that because I feel like I change on a daily basis. I feel like I learn something about myself every day. I just turned 30 last month, and I feel like even just with that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Dirty 30.
Dirty 30. Yes.
Welcome to the club.
Yes.
We won't talk about my club. Yeah. We're going to celebrate dirty 30s.
Yes. Yes. I feel like even just turning 30, like my mind has shifted so much. And so, you know, you talk about 90 days, I feel like that's like a lifetime.
Right.
And so this year I really just decided like I'm going to be out of my comfort zone. Even being here tonight, like this is out of my comfort zone, but I was excited to be here and just because it's new and I want to get used to, you know, things like that. Exactly. Exactly. So in 90 days, honestly, wow. I really just hope that I continue exactly the exact path that I'm on right now. Just continue to push myself out of my comfort zone, doing things that I've never done. You know, whatever gives me anxiety, that's what I want to go towards so I can just get it over with, get the fear over with. And just, you know, really chase my dreams. And so definitely the acting thing is a little new to me, but I want to explore that a lot more. So I've had a lot of opportunities come to me in regards to that since I kind of opened that door and releasing my project. I'm starting to do gigs and stuff. And so even being outside of the church and being out here, like doing gigs and stuff, that's, you know, out of my comfort zone. And so just really want to continue down that path of just, you know, exploring what God has for me. Yeah. So,
well, when
we're
you
proud
drop,
of you.
we are
Thank you.
very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
When you drop your album and or your single, and whenever your movie also, you know, debuts, come back and see us. We want to talk. We want to talk more. We want to talk more.
You know, uncomfortability breeds success.
That is true.
That's true.
The more uncomfortable you are,
Exactly.
that means you're gonna work harder to get through it.
Exactly.
So So, and I can see it in you, and I think you have a bright future, and everybody check her out. She's the storm coming.
And this is your time, so you can look at that camera and you can tell your fans anything that you want. This is your time.
Okay. So definitely follow me to keep up with all the things happening. My Instagram, that's where I'm the most active. Instagram and TikTok are actually the same username. It's Mariah DENEE official, and it's spelled DENEE. It looks like DENEE, but it's DENEE. So Mariah DENEE, DENEE official. You can find me on Facebook as well, Mariah Brown. So I definitely love to connect, get to know people, and just network and do things like this. Like this is what the city needs. So we definitely appreciate you. And I do have one question for you.
What's your question?
Okay. So what makes Wingz Alwayz better than like a Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Let us know.
For us, Wingz Alwayz is different. Wingz Alwayz is your ultimate social venue. It's a place that you can come to and you can get a variety of food. It's not just wings. We'll have different varieties of Indonesian food, vegan food. Yes, we'll have Mexican. We'll have soul food. So you can bring the whole family and you can come to one spot and everybody can be happy. We're also going to have jazz bars. We're going to have a country bar. We have R&B, and we also have a comedy club. We have it all in one, and we give you that every night. So you get that experience. So any day of the week, you can come in and you can have a nice experience. So if you want to just sit back and just, relax to yourself, we have outside courtyards. It's going to be a great experience. So for us, there's nothing like us. So Wingz Alwayz is its own self. So we have no competition. We stand alone.
You can't forget about the kids.
Definitely can't forget about the kids.
The kids area that we'll be having. So if you do need to come and enjoy yourself, but you can't find that babysitter, we have something for you for
right
that.
There on site. Right there on site. They do it in church. They have a place where you can put your kids in church. You can put your kids right there and you can feel safe and enjoy yourself. Because we need that night out.
We do.
Especially when you have your kids, you need that time out. So that's what makes us different than anything out there. What also makes us different is we're going to bring you artists. We're going to feature and showcase everything that Oklahoma City has. And remember, we're building 100 of these all across the country. So not only will you get to know the owners here, you'll get to know each owner all across the country. And that's 100 great new owners that's coming together for one big, thing.
Family.
So whenever we start coming together is when we start growing as a community. And we're going to grow this community. It's the ultimate community, the ultimate social venue. And we enjoy you all coming. And like I said, I'm never going to ask you to subscribe. I'm never going to ask you to do any of those things, because if you like what you're seeing, if you like the content we bring you, you're going to come back. And we welcome you back. And we appreciate you. We took her from her kids tonight, so that was big. That's big, and that's all for you.
Definitely.
And we appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Sitting here by myself makes it hard to accept. Learning to find peace in this place of regret. The silence is so deafening, and this emptiness is strong. Sometimes I'm trapped in my thoughts, but I'm determined to move on my own. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Looking in the mirror, vision clear, I can finally see that I can be okay. Okay with being me, loving myself, learning to trust this journey of being by myself. It's a must that I heal in order to move on. Sometimes I feel that I should've tried harder, should've stayed just a little bit longer. Should've suffered, but that would've made it harder. Just wanna be better for my son and my daughter. All these tears I've cried kept me up at night. I never wanted it this way, but I will be okay. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. The pain, it may linger, the hurt may stay, but I am determined to find a way. I'm ready to conquer these fears I face, to heal and to move in a healthy space. I'm ready, I'm